one promo could, encapsulate that whole generation. I'm told, I haven't watched something across television or OTT for quite a long time. I am told that there's such a resonance of even the opening title song.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody's asking me, how are you going to shoot that? I'm like, I didn't even think about it. I have no idea. For her, the protagonist was a female. This is at a time where female protagonists as lanes were not very popular.
It was a character which fought patriarchy, which taught about how to do right parenting. So it was so ahead of its time.
My first love will always be television. This is a medium that has far more penetration than even the internet. People discuss what happened in a show on a dining table. ये जो टीवी बनाती है ये वहाँ से सीख कर बोल रही है कि मेरी भी आवाज़ है, मेरा भी point of view है. Is what does she bring to the table? Because Smriti Irani you see in real life as a politician, right? What do you see her as an actor in? And it did not matter what my gender was. What mattered for her production companies, what do you deliver as an actor? If you ask any woman today to land up to work 2 days after giving birth, they will think you're out of your mind. We needed to be there, so we were there. There was no conversation about how many hours or how stressful the whole environment is.
Penetration of TV is about 90%. In India, it is still 65 to 70%. Kyunki showed the path and Tulsi Virani walked that path.
I used to stick around at 10:30 at my TV channels to kind of watch it. I want to start there. Like, why do you think this was the right time to bring the story back?
25 years complete this year of Kyunki. The show had few episodes left before it completed 2000. So we wanted to do like a short bout of episodes so that we can actually bring back the memories. And most importantly, to give back to the medium that gave us so much, television, and use this very, very powerful force to reckon with character that's penetrated through large parts of India and help India see her in an updated, newer version, talk about really important issues. So use storytelling to do what we want to do, that is create impact, create awareness, to change mindset.
Yeah, true. I think, and the visual medium has that power to do so. But Smriti ma'am, like, this is like your second inning in acting, and like you are starting it again with the show that kind of gave you that platform, that reach, and that popularity. Somewhere, does it feel like divine intervention that you're starting it again with the same show?
I think as Ekta has enunciated the idea to give back to a community of viewers who made it as historic as the product is, the idea to reconnect with the emotion, the very idea that we as individuals, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Ekta, we ourselves have seen so much in our own journeys in the past 25 years. How will that reflect in the creation? How will that reflect in the relationships that are lived through the story? That is something that as an creative person that I look forward to. Also, the mediums of engagement have changed completely in the past 2.5 decades. We have to recognize that Ekta got a 10:30 slot, which did not actually exist in terms of viewership. For her, the protagonist was a female. This is at a time where female protagonists as lanes were not very popular. It was a difficult decision, a very unique journey which began, and then to make it center stage for consumption, then to make it center stage for storytelling, then to make it a foundation for many producers, for many creators to follow suit, is nothing less than historic, and that too for a female producer. And in a genre where you tell the most unreal things in a very real fashion. So to balance the two and to see Ekta transform as a creator for 2.5 decades, for me, it's a win-win, because now you see the the reprise not only on television, but you also have a nice little companion on Jio Hotstar.
Yeah, I was just discussing with him that this generation will never feel the thrill जो हमें लगता था कि we can't miss the episode because if it is not, we don't see it at the first time, there's only one more chance. Other than that, you are gone with for that episode. And this generation will never feel that thrill that we all have had. But building on what she said, Sumanta sir, the show kind of reinvented the how daily soaps and how Indian television was seen, and somewhere Star Plus also became the kind of initiator of that. So somewhere do you feel it is again going to reinvent the channel and the brand itself, because somewhere it started it the first time, so this time it's going to be again doing that reinvention?
So before I get into the channel and the brand, I think entertainment landscape in India is at a very important inflection point. And I think that's what this show is, the expectation is what it's going to do in order to reset both in terms of creativity as well as in commercial terms in linear TV, as well as the way people consume in Jio Hotstar. Because it's a show which it's just not a show. It's only not about entertainment. And building on to both what Ekta and Smriti said, it was a character which fought patriarchy, which taught about how to do right parenting. So it was so ahead of its time, and the new storyline that we have embarked on creating, I think it's going to reshape the way India looks at content. And look, while India as a country, there are various pieces of content that we are filled with so much of noise and so many pieces of content that is dropping at all of us. I think with this progress that is happening, the first thing that is the casualty is values. And this show stood for those kind of values. And India is defined by relationship and values.
You very rightfully said, because those values is something were inculcated in a larger sense in a lot of us through these shows. And Ekta ma'am, I'm sure like in this today's time, we have seen a lot of shows that have come from TV, reboot and kind of reinvent themselves on OTT. I'm sure you must have also gotten a lot of offers, and that thought might have crossed your mind. But what is the reason that you decided that not OTT, but you want to come on the channel first?
See, essentially, like I said, my first love will always be television. This is a medium that has far more penetration than even the internet. While there's a lot more noise in the internet, it is scattered. Television has the ability to reunite people, families, thought processes. Unfortunately, there are two point of views when you make a show. There are two, and everything else can be like, complementary. What do you want to do this for? So if you ask me, for me, reinventing television, secondary. Creating lots of noise, high TRPs, secondary. Making that medium relevant in a way that people discuss what happened in a show on a dining table. I was just talking to somebody else just now, and I was saying this. One young man recently sitting across the table and told me, my father used to hate you. So I kept looking at him and said, why does your dad hate me? What did I do? He didn't like the TV I made. What is it? Because a lot of men used to say, हमारी बीवियाँ TV देखती हैं. He said, नहीं, उनका बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था. मैं said, क्या था? He says, मेरी मम्मी ने पहली बार उनको जवाब दिया. मैं बोला, जवाब दिया? He says, उनको लगता है जवाब दिया, मुझे ऐसा सन लगता है पहली बार उन्होंने अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रखा. क्योंकि अगर तुलसी बोल सकती है जो उसे लगता है अपने ही घर में, तो मैं क्यों नहीं अपने घर में अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रख सकती. तो उन्हें बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हुई थी कि ये जो टीवी बनाती ये वहाँ से सीख कर बोल रही है कि मेरी भी आवाज़ है, मेरा भी एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, मेरी भी एक सोच है, मैं बोलूँगी. अगर तुलसी बोल सकती है, why is going to? I said, if I can do that with television, where I can have one mindset changed, I would feel extremely proud of this TRP on TRP.
And you very rightfully said, we underplay the influence that these daily soaps have had on us, because we always try to undermine them by talking about कि oh ये तो सास बहू सागा, but they actually spoke at a time when the women were not allowed to speak up, and they actually gave them the courage because somewhere they got influenced by it, and you were a big force in that.
I think that one has to be cognizant of the fact that and I say this from my experience with Ekta as a creator, her whole focus at that time, and I still remember that conversation she had with me, was to make the emotion as real as possible so that there is relatability. There was an understanding that what we are presenting is surreal. This whole ideal family, which just takes an orphan girl of a pujari into the family, a pujari who is not a part of the family but comes and works within the family. So even that little suggestion that a girl who is an absolute orphan and nobody possibly survives on a salary of the pujari is brought in and becomes the main householder. Now, I don't remember Ekta ever taking the position of a social activist when she wrote the story. That is something that stemmed from her own experiences, her own belief, including the relationship that she showed between Ba and Tulsi. That is something that I know that came from one of her own personal experiences of how she envisions a relationship between two generations, with one generation of Savita far removed from that equation. And I think what is also relevant to say today, and Ekta refers to TRP or no TRP, but I'm of the opinion that we've already set that bar. I am not in the project because I want to revisit that bar, because we were at 31 in terms of TRP, and I don't think anybody is getting to that standard. We were successful consistently for 8 years. Every award that happened in the industry came to the Kyunki family. Now that has been there, done that. Should we hold others to that same standard? Because it's an impossible standard for anybody to meet. And that is why I think what is for me as a creative person exciting is how is this creator transition from that genre 2.5 decades later. I have to here also admit, I know of Uday Shankar, who leads a part of the whole group. From my political background, I know of him as a stalwart in newsrooms. Now imagine that kind of an experience in Ekta's experience, and you see that translate, let's say, into the first promo that you see that the channel brought out. And the impact was such that I had people telling me, even in Delhi, that we were actually discussing this. How did the channel know this? And how did this come out in the first promo? And the promo itself is so different because it doesn't just speak of the character. It is actually at the crossroads of both the real and the real life. So just that promo is an indication that the organization, the platform and the creator have now, like Sumanta says, it's changing the landscape. That's the first indication. But as a creative person, for me, what draws me is what does she bring to the table? Because Smriti Irani you see in real life as a politician, right? What do you see her as an actor in? That is a translation of what Ekta writes.
Yeah.
So for me, it is fascinating to come back to somebody who I knew 25 years ago and see her journey.
Yeah, exactly. You both have had this special journey, I would say, because I think adjectives can be used any.
And you have, and I'm adding to this. See, today, if you talk about today's generation, as you have said, what is a conversation in today's generation in professional spheres, in the private sector? It is about pay parity, right? It is about having a better work condition for women. But that is something that we actually took care of 25 years ago. 25 years ago,
far better than it.
Yeah. And it did not matter what my gender was. What mattered for her production companies, what do you deliver as an actor? What is the hallmark of your talent? You will get paid accordingly. I've had 2 kids in my journey during Saas Kabhi Bahu thi. So we've had a production together which says, okay, how do you make sure that Smriti Irani is having a baby? If something happens, we actually measured the distance between the set and the hospital to say how quickly can we drive.
Yeah.
So I have seen the whole company though.
The only person I know who had my production head was in hotline with her, and every time he cried, she would just land up on the set and say, okay, I'm having a baby. I just had she's the only one I think who came on the set 2 days after me, because she knew that telecast had to be made well. And Kyunki could not happen without those.
It was a passion project. If you ask any woman today to land up to work 2 days after giving birth, they will think you're out of your mind. But for us, it was, I never looked at the TRP at that time. It was historic. The channel would talk to the production house. But for us, it was, oh, what has she written and what can you convey on screen? That's it. That was the whole ambition. That was the whole desire. That was something that drove all of us together. Even today, I've come to your interview after doing a scene and I have a new generation of actors and I told all of them, I said, listen, you're very lucky that you have certain characters which are being acted out now by Ekta. So you have no clue. Do this well and you'll be happiest creators. Forget about everything else that will follow. Because I don't think Star and Jio will leave anything to imagination. They will do their best to make sure that the consumer knows what we have to offer. But as creative persons, it is just the joy of just standing there together as a team and delivering to your creator.
You mentioned pay parity. Another thing from the story I got is that another conversation that today's generation is having about the working conditions for working moms, and that also she took care of from the story that you shared.
She never had this whole thing that this is the number, like Ekta says. We needed to be there, so we were there. There was no conversation about how many hours or how stressful the whole environment is. As I think as professionals, we just knew we had a higher calling. We needed to be on air at 10:30 because the nation was tuning in. It was as simple as that.
It's nice to actually say this. No one wants to ever come down from the nostalgia they created and again put yourself through test. Because Smriti and the channel both were like, let's create an impact bomb. Let's work towards making a story and let's not just run after only ratings. But let's entertain. Let's not be preach. Let's make fun. But let's tell a good story. And this power is what actually we are looking forward to actually exercising to tell a story.
And Sumanta sir, I have to say that somewhere do you feel it has become more important now to keep the essence of television alive when a large part of our audiences are moving towards digital? I know there's a balance that needs to be maintained, but somewhere it's becoming more necessary to bring that essence back again, which made TV what it is.
So first, there is some hard data. I think there is too much noise and there are too much chatter around digital. The numbers are astounding. There are 49 million trillion minutes of content that is watched on a monthly basis on TV alone. I think these are hard facts. I don't think there are live sports which get consumed in the similar fashion, but in entertainment, I think TV is the medium, which in terms of reach, it reaches to far wider and deeper set of people. Look, when you have to do some benchmarking, look in Western countries, their penetration of TV is about 90%. In India, it is still 65 to 70%. So there is still a lot of headroom for TV to grow. So while there is a device that is there which people have flexibility, like you are saying that you are having people who are today have choices because the world revolved around making convenience and choice. But look, TV also brings a community kind of viewing. It's that whole family experience. You are not seeing in one device. TV is part of our drawing room, our dining room. If you create a story which is riveting and which draws in the entire family, the family sits together, understands values, and look, the patriarchy is not gone, right? It is that conditioning still exists in the society. If you are able to push the envelope and be an inspiration to all the women viewers and to families and talk about the values that are fast disappearing in our society and the incidents that is happening all around us. And Kyunki showed the path and Smriti Irani walked that path. I think if you are able to create that, it would be magical.
Very rightfully said, because we think that we have progressed, but there happens one incident after the other after a certain time, which reminds us that we are still kind of bogged down by that patriarchy.
I think patriarchy is now used as a political tool and a leverage. I don't think that, I mean, my experience with Ekta has never been that she said, oh, acha, humko patriarchy se ladna, because that is very futile. And I think it is from a societal point of view and political genuine understanding and relevance point of view, it is genuinely flexed as political muscle. And I would not want to kind of distort what actually is happening with Ekta. And why I'm saying this is, I don't think there is any other cohort of creators on any channel today in India which has, like Ekta says, the opportunity to say that just create. Don't worry about anything else. No other cohort of creators, actors, writers, producers in the entire landscape of television today have the privilege that we as Team Kyunki has. Just create. That's it.
A family coming together and discussing pertinent issues.
Yeah.
After watching an episode, if I can achieve that, that is prime. That is invaluable.
Yeah.
That is power unutilized.
Yeah. And the way you both have
And
said.
she and Tulsi can help me do that today as a creator.
Yeah.
I think we may need this character to come back to maybe get used to it.
Yeah.
And some really good characters on TV. Let's not take that away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very proud that we are actually in the game of telling the world Indian television still, as they say, rocks.
Yeah.
The fact
Yes.
that
Yeah,
one
it does. It
Absolutely.
Does.
The fact that one promo
Yeah.
could, encapsulate that whole generation. I'm told, I haven't watched something across television or OTT for quite a long time. I am told that there's such a resonance of even the opening title song.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody's asking me, how are you going to shoot that? I'm like, I didn't even think about it. I have no idea.
You open the door, welcoming to that family.
Ekta, I'm making one request. Please make the title song a part of the telecast because now they don't do it in TV shows and we miss it so much. So, please, because
Absolutely.
we love that. It has to be a
But I
part.
tell you, I've had the most bizarre experience. I've had people come from, those property tech platforms. They're actually going on to Instagram to say, this is how you actually, Ekta Kapoor does even showcase property. I was like, when did that happen? So I think the
That welcoming gesture to the home.
interoperability of the content transitioning 25 years ago, title
Yes.
songs
Yeah.
across platforms.
Nostalgia. I request the channel at least.
We want to not disclose all the cards and keep it secret because that's the power of marketing. That's a power of marketing. So, like for example, before the promo dropped, I think there was a look that was revealed. I think that broke the internet before the promo dropped.
Yeah.
So I don't want to steal the thunder for the marketing.
Yeah.
And wait for surprises.
Yeah, it
and
just speaks of the
it's going to
excitement.
be a great ride and look forward to a fantastic, riveting storyline and a great show.
Yeah, I know that my generation will be tuning it, and I'm sure we will push the newer generation as well. Because I'm going to do that with the younger generation in my family. Because we have loved it, and the way you both have said about how it will tackle the topics of today, I'm sure it will also give an answer to people who question that Indian TV is going regressive. I think it will.
She had to take the burden, I was busy working. And I don't know why things that are being discussed today or what the show stood for then was not highlighted at the time. We were so busy working. We had no time to defend what we were doing.
Yeah.
And the TRPs were so historic that everybody else said, just don't bother. But if you look back in hindsight, they actually stood for things which were not a part of popular mediums.
Yeah.
And we did it with Ilan. We did it without being preachy.
Yeah.
Now people are saying, oh, no,
Actually, see, because you tell the world or work stories, there's no big deal.
Yeah.
The enlightened are getting enlightened.
Mm.
You need to reach the masses,
Yeah.
be relatable, talk of their issues, and then push the envelope. And we hope to be that.
Yeah.
Again, reach the masses and entertain, get families together, and tell something that makes something.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do this a little differently
Yeah.
without working.
Yeah.
Maybe my wife was saying something right. Maybe we both should talk.
But thank you so much, Ekta ma'am. You said that you don't do much interviews, and I'm thankful that I got this privilege to do this today. Thank you so much for taking this.
Thank you so much
It was
for
a
having
pleasure
us.
and honor to be in a conversation with all three of you.
Thank
I
you.
hope you had also a good time because I had.
We did.
Thank you
you
so much.
Thank you.